Hello. How's it going? It's kind of cool, right? I mean, at 2 o'clock, you get some champagne, get some wine, get some beer, kind of gets the afternoon started. Um, it's- I'm excited to be here. We did RAG++ in San Francisco first, and it was a warehouse. The second one we did was in New York, and it was in a pier. And now we're doing this at this venue. What do you guys think? It's kind of cool, right? So I really, really like it. I think it's really interesting because I think a lot of people, thank you for, by the way, showing up at 2 o'clock. I think a lot of people come through and stay for the hackathon and things like that as well. I think over 900 registrations, so I think it's going to be pretty packed all throughout the day. So we'll have some fun. We have a bunch of really cool things that are coming together. Here's what the agenda will look like, right? I'll go through a few slides. Devora, the CTO for DataStax, is going to join us. He'll go through some his experience on AI and what we are experiencing with our customers and developers. And then we have the pleasure of having Patrick here, who is the CIO of NBC Sky, right? Is probably the best way to put it. And we're going to have a great conversation with him. He's doing some really good things all the way through. We'll have a live demo, and then we'll do some breakout sessions and go from there. So the workshops are going to be it's going to be hands-on, and then you can obviously talk about Gen AI and regulated industries. So here's DataStax, for those of you that don't know, started with a project called Apache Cassandra. And how many people here have heard about Apache Cassandra? Yes, there's a lot of people. How many people use Netflix? How many people use Spotify? How many people use iCloud? All those sites are powered by Apache Cassandra technology. Right? Just think about it, right? You don't realize how much of your life is driven by the technology that you know and the stuff that we go off and help build. So it's awesome. So when I joined DataStax 5 years ago, and we were obviously being very successful, and we wanted to go off and build a cloud product, which we did. We wanted to go and become a data company, which we did. And then given that we were a bunch of ex-Googlers, we knew about foundation models and things like that, and we knew some of the work that was happening inside Google Research, as well as what was going on at OpenAI. But when ChatGPT hit in November 22, we were like, this is going to take off, and this was our thesis. This is why we worked so hard, and we continue to spend a lot of time and actually making sure that we have technology that all of you can use. Because there is no AI without data, there is no AI without unstructured data, and you need a lot of it, right? And hence you have to do it at scale. And this is why we believe that we have the right to actually come in and not just talk to you about databases or data, but also talk to you about how to build Gen AI apps, which is what we're going to land up doing today. So here's what we like to do and what we get up in the morning doing, right? I love building product businesses, but mostly for developers, so that they can actually really enjoy the products we actually build, because you put a lot of work into it, but they actually have to change the trajectory of the enterprises they work for. That's a really, really important part of it. We focus a lot on ease of use. We focus a lot on relevancy. And obviously, we focus a lot on scale. Scale is something that comes naturally to us. And so that is how we think about what our goal in life is. This is by far my favorite slide. If this was a little lower, I would be hugging it. Like, that kind of thing. We obviously love the products we build, but what we like even more is the companies that use them. Right, and this is what we get up in the morning to do, to actually serve the companies. And the best ones, by the way, you may have heard of a small company called Verizon, and they're based in the U.S. And you may have heard of another company called FedEx. Verizon just had an iPhone launch, and I actually happened to talk to the CIO right after it, and he said, "Chet, I didn't call you." I said, "I'm glad." And the reason he didn't was because our stuff really worked, right? And that is the pride and joy of what we'll end up doing. We think transitioning to AI, we think 2024 is the year of production AI. Now, a lot of you will like, what are you talking about? I believe every one of these customers, every one of them, will actually have an app in production this year. It could be a small app, it could be an internal app, it could be an external app. Regulated industries are going to take longer, but we are definitely going to see production AI happen in 2024. And as customers go into production, into the production world of AI, they realize very, very quickly that they need to do two things. They don't only have to build Gen AI apps, and Devor will spend a bunch of time talking about it. I'll touch on it. But more importantly, they also have to modernize the data estate, right? Because without data, there's no AI. So what do our customers land up doing? How many, by the way, DataStax customers in the crowd? A few of you. Great, awesome. The rest of you should sign up today. But my point is, there are a lot of companies actually that do self-managed products, that they actually don't use stuff in the cloud. And we have a path for them because we have a hyper-converged database that actually works really well. It optimizes compute and storage. It built on Kubernetes. You can download it and play with it any which way you want. And so we actually do a lot of things for our customers on premises because they have mission-critical workloads. In addition, there's a lot of people who know Cassandra, who are working towards Astra, which is our serverless version of Apache Cassandra that we actually run in our cloud and run across all three clouds, right? So people actually go from Cassandra to Astra, from DSC to Astra, then obviously they actually start using it from scratch as well. You can just go on and sign up for Astra and go ahead and use it. Here is a good example. If you may have heard of a company called Sony, they have some products called PlayStations, right? We actually fuel the back end for PlayStations. This is a customer that actually went from self-managed to the cloud, right? Massive migration, very smoothly done, zero downtime, and obviously you can see the amount of data that they had that they've migrated. So very successfully. We have many customers doing this. The next, we also have introduced a product called AI PaaS, and it's called Langflow. Rodrigo and Gabriel, two Brazilians who started the company called Langflow, we asked them to come and join us so we can actually have a bigger impact on the market. And since then, we got them on board, and the company, we acquired the company in April of this year. They had 14,000 stars, and now we're like 26,000 stars, so we're growing very rapidly. You can go to GitHub and start using it, but we also have a version sitting in the cloud. The most important part of this slide is not the different parts to it, because we'll actually go through it, but absolutely no platform as a service is ever going to be successful without an open ecosystem. And it doesn't matter whether it's LLMs, whether you use Gemini, whether you use Anthropic, or whether you use Mistral, or whatever else you OpenAI, whatever else you want. But the most important thing is that the technology is going to come from open source, right? It's going to come from an open source ecosystem. We actually have, the way we think about this at DataStax is really simple. If it's not an open source, it's probably not worth doing. That's how strongly we feel about what open source and ecosystems are going to do for us. And it's interesting, you may have heard of a company called NVIDIA as well. They actually have, you think of them as GPUs, right? Everything on the gaming side, on AI, but they actually have an awesome software stack. They do over $1 billion in just software. And so we're partnering very closely with NVIDIA. We actually couldn't get them to London based on conflicts, but they were there in New York with us on stage. And we are actually taking their technology. They have some great stuff, good embedding services. They have some great guardrails. They have some good, this teacher model stuff that's coming up. So we're taking all of that. We're going to create a product together and have everybody be able to buy it and use it, right? So there's a lot of stuff that we're doing with NVIDIA, and you're going to see them more prominent in the software space. So here's an example of a customer. The parent company is called Bookings.com, which is probably something that almost every European knows about. Priceline is their brand in the US. You can obviously use Bookings.com as well, but Priceline it is. And they actually have they have an assistant called Penny that you go to this site and actually use it. They found preliminary results, right? It does say it was early results. They found that in 2 weeks, people who used Penny spent 25% more with Priceline. Super interesting, right? Early days, but there's definitely a lot coming that's going to happen on this side. I will leave you with a couple of things. One is today we actually announced this. This is Forrester, which is analyst firm, Gartner, Forrester. Those are the two, and there are probably others as well. But Forrester just did an entire new wave. This is their first wave on vector databases. And we came out as a leader and the only hybrid database in the leader category. So super excited about this. I think we did a blog post today and a press release today as well, so you can take a look at it at datasex.com. So I'll leave you with this as Devor comes up here. 2025 is going to be what we call the year of transformative AI. I think we're going to go from the Angry Bird stage of Gen AI, where people use simple apps, and we're going to get into sophisticated second-generation apps on Gen AI, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. I do not believe that people have seen the disruption that comes from generative AI yet, right? So there's a lot more that's going to happen, and we are really pumped because from these customers, there will be quite a few who will actually go off and do transformative AI next year. All right, Devor, over to you.